eight in our group because we have flu going around here. Well, I think everywhere has flu going around. So we had a couple people that were sick that couldn't come. And
Right, but still.
probably at the thing there was maybe like 35. It wasn't a large group, but we got a lot of honks, which I was surprised knowing it was a red area, but it's a university town too. Texas A&M is there. So yeah, or
I'm sure they
nearby.
were appreciative. That's amazing, Chris. That's awesome. All right. So, everyone, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Sunday Seconds, Sorting Soups book club, Sunday's second helping that happened on, what happened on Thursday. We get a deeper dive, more opportunity to discuss and go deeper into what happened on Thursday. We are live streaming, so if you do not want your video on, now is the time to turn it off. We also ask if you would please self-mute. We had everybody talking prior to, and so in order to keep the noise down, we would appreciate you turning that off. All right. So today we're going to be going over the 2026 Newsweek. Well, not the Newsweek article. We're going to be going over what the Heritage Foundation put out, right? And I dropped that in the chat a couple of times. I'll probably end up dropping it in the chat a few more as people continue to mosey on in. Good morning, everyone. By the way, hi, how are you? I know it is a crazy weekend we have found ourselves in. I put my hand in. I have a bunch of pins that a friend of mine gave me, and I put my hand in to figure out what the theme of the day is. And it is, if you can read, Trump is the worst president since Trump. I think that's pretty on brand for how we are right now. And just I was talking in the pre 9 a.m. I uploaded a video yesterday just saying that this is America, this is where we find ourselves, and what can we do? What can we do about it? We can call our Congress people. We can ask them to be support the Rifle Act because we have more mass shootings than days of the year, and we can definitely be on them about Venezuela. Venezuela is the number one on five calls, guys. It's number one, obviously, because we are at war. We are at war. And I don't even think everybody knows it. I don't think everybody knows it. I don't think everybody, I don't know how that works. Anyway, okay. I'm going to just try to breathe. I know we have a lot to talk about in the 2026, but if anybody has anything to get off their chest, because this is still sorting soup, we still process, we still do the processing. So if anybody, we can do, say, 10 minutes of processing. If anybody needs anything to get off their chest, raise your hand. Let's get it off. What? Nobody wants to vent about Venezuela? Okay, Beth.
Um, it's
Fair.
awful. Congress needs to be consulted. And why was it all of a sudden done now? And he wants the oil because the oil and gas people were some of the largest contributors to him. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Beth Ann. All right, Kara.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I went to a rally at Springfield, our state capital, yesterday about this, and then there's one in Bloomington and also one in Peoria at different times, so I could rally hop if I wanted. And so that's what I did yesterday. I dropped all my plans to do that. And I'm just grateful that we have the infrastructure to do pop-ups so quickly. That's a good sign for us. And the last point I want to make is that Noriega, people are comparing it to Noriega, which George H.W. Bush, arrested, whatever, that whole story. But the difference is that was actually an indictment for Noriega. That is one difference. I'm not saying that one was right either, but just some information for you to use to continue to, share. Thanks.
Thank you. There were slight differences. You're correct. All right, Judith, how are you this morning? Oh, unmute. Did it come on?
There. Okay, we're good now. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm just really distressed about the whole thing. That the military would allow it and follow through on it is just incredible. I thought we had better people in charge, but maybe the ones who count for this particular operation don't have a conscience or something. It distresses me that we've lost the moral high ground now. And I mean, we've done basically the same thing, with some differences that Putin did in invading Ukraine. And so we just can't say anymore that we are upholders of international law. And we have done similar things in the past, but this is really blatant, and it really bothers me. I mean, so I don't think there's anybody left, maybe the countries in Europe who do have the moral high ground and haven't invaded their neighbors recently. Israel claims to value human life. They keep saying this, and there's the Gaza disaster, and there's just nobody with the moral high ground anymore. Nobody has it, and this is distressing to me. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it, and it's just really a very sad situation that we're in. Thanks. That's it for now.
Thank you, Judith. And I highly recommend the Knitting Cult Lady. If anybody has any, okay, so I have this 80s fantasy that the military will save us, that the military will go in and arrest him, or there's going to be some, I know, Merritt, don't laugh at me, hush. Okay, I was raised on 80s blockbusters. Okay, so my point is, obviously, I am over that. I understand that's not going to happen. And what I'm saying is, Knitting Cult Lady is a wonderful resource to tell you how it really is. She will explain why those people were not, they actually, we do this all the time. Our military does stuff like this all the time. We just don't usually know about it because they don't usually go on Fox News and brag about it. So anyway, sorry, Larry, you're up next.
Yes, good morning from Columbus, Ohio, and a couple of points. If you want to find out a little more background, check out Greg Pallas. Just do a Google on Greg, and he goes back to the Hugo Chavez days when they nationalized the oil, and we did not like it to the point that I'd forgotten all about this. Pat Robertson called for his assassination. Pat Robertson of the 500 or 700 Club or whatever it was, a religious organization, because they wanted to mine for gold there, and they did not get free reign to mine for gold. But at any rate, check it out. George W. Bush tried to overthrow and may have assassinated Hugo Chavez, but he was very, very popular with the poor, which was not a good thing for the rich. And I'll leave it at that. Plenty of things to check out if you so desire.
Thank you very much, Larry. Good morning, Madam Ambassador.
Morning, y'all. Beth from Southeast Michigan. So my MAGA sister said that we needed to take Maduro out of circulation because he's a bad guy, and that the Venezuelans were celebrating all over the world. Well, the videos that I saw, most people were like, yeah, he was a bad guy, but leave it up to us to run our own country.
Two things can be true at the same time. Yes.
Yes. And also, I think that the reason that there was the cuts to Medicaid and food is so Trump could put more money in his war fund to take over more countries. Because I heard that he's thinking about doing maybe Cuba and something about Mexico possibly, but I doubt that'll happen.
Y'all, keep in mind remember at the beginning of the year when he was talking about Greenland and Panama,
Right.
this has been in the works since the beginning of the year. This is not something that just popped up. This has been in the works. He has been imperializing, like he has he's just a colonizer. I'm sorry. Anyway, Bruce, good morning. Breathe.
Good morning from Palm Beach County. I already have my signs ready for the Trump motorcade this afternoon. Hopefully they don't change the time and I go up there and it's been canceled again. But the whole thing is atrocious. It's unlawful, not only under American law, but also international law. And I know they're asking the UN to look into it right away, and maybe the ICC as well. But the fact that I acknowledge that Maduro was a horrible guy and he really shouldn't have been in there, but it's not our business to be doing this. And this is such an extremely significant topic. I may use it for my talk on Tuesday's Zoom meeting.
Good. It'd be a great
Maybe. I could say plenty more. Plus, there was an indictment for both him and his wife, a supersedious indictment that Bondi mentioned, and there had been one from like 6 years ago as well. So that is a similarity to Noriega, but there are a lot of differences. Panama didn't have oil, for instance, and we didn't say we would be running the government.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind that Machado has been duly elected by the people, and we are just saying, no biggie. We want whatever. Anyway, sorry. Okay, I said we were going to be just until till 15 after. So let's talk quickly. Judith, go.
Hi, yes, I wanted to respond to what you said about
Yeah.
Your dashed hopes for the military, Cecilia. I had such hopes too because we were stationed in Turkey for a while. And if you know the history of Turkey, they had military takeovers a number of times when things got too crazy with the democratic government. And after setting things right and some stern measures, yes, the military always handed power back to the civilians. And, I was thinking, well, if we have a staunch enough military with a conscience, maybe they could do the same thing, but I don't think that's going to happen now. And so I'm really kind of shattered about that. And then I wanted to, people mentioned how the military is bragging on Fox News about this. And that really kind of disgusts me because I remember back in the Iraq war times, those horrible pictures from Abu Ghraib. And now, such things, the Kristi Noem pictures at the torture prison in El Salvador, that's basically the same thing. And now it's okay. These horrible things are all okay, So, yeah. And I'm feeling very bad about Venezuela because, my husband used to go there on business. Sometimes he worked for Citgo. The oil companies are not enthusiastic about this because they don't know what's going to happen in the future in Venezuela. They don't want to pour a bunch of money in there. So, yes, oil executives contributed to Trump. I know that, but yeah, I don't know that they're going to go in there enthusiastically. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. I know Venezuela is not excited because Exxon for the longest time profited and gave all the profits to the United States. Venezuela did not profit from their own oil.
Right.
And anyway, all right. Boot, good morning.
On mute. Hey, I posted a article by Heather Cox Richardson that she put out yesterday morning. I think it's probably a good background for understanding what's going down here. This whole Trump thing, this isn't anything new. This is the Stalinist view of global politics. All right. Stalin pressed at the end of the war for establishing what's called spheres of influence. All right. And the idea was that in Stalin's view, the world would be split up, and you'd have a major power control large sections of the globe. And it's pretty apparent that this is what has inspired Trump to go ahead with what he's about to, what he's about to do in his whole program to upset and demoralize democracies, right? The U.S. has done this before several times. 1954, the CIA overthrew a democratic elected government in Guatemala under a man named Arbenz. And the CIA has always been a very active component in South American politics. All right. In fact, it's probably the third force throughout South America. All right. So what we're looking at here is one element in a much larger plan to reformulate how the global power structure is going to be arranged in the near future. All right. I think Cecilia touched on it. We still don't know exactly how the military is going to respond once he crosses the line and has to become fully undemocratic. All right. There still might be some elements within the U.S. Armed Forces that will push back against this. If that occurs, then we're not going to be saved. All right. We're just going to swap out dictators. Right. So we're really we're in the beginning of what is going to be a very long haul. And I think Heather really explains it very well for people that have not been exposed to what the U.S. has done in South America and in Central America, right? It's no surprise, right? We've been doing this for a very long time, and short of an overall change in American culture, we're going to have to expect to see this much more now that the gloves are off and the mofus are in charge of our show and plan to do it for the entire hemisphere, right? But I would strongly suggest looking at Heather Cox Richardson's article, because it really does put everything into context, and then you start to realize just how useful an idiot Trump is for Putin.
Okay,
right?
okay. Stop raising hands. We're stopping after Julie because I said we were going to stop at 9:15 and we've already gone to 9:20.
I did. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Cecilia. Good morning. Okay. I did a post what he's discussing.
Robin, you're not listening to the words that came out of my mouth.
I said I posted the article so you guys can read that.
You're still not listening to the words that. Good morning, Robin. I love you.
Good morning.
Okay, I am. We are stopping after Julie, and then
sounds good. Sounds good. I'm as upset as anybody else. Okay, so. Okay. I just listening to you guys, okay, but I did.
You can raise your hand. You can raise your hand after we get into.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sorry, I just wanted to say that before I forget it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm trying to use your Discord and whatever that signal is. Okay?
All right. Thank you, Julie. You are up.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Quickly, I posted that per Barbara McCade. I think she's lawyer that comes on MSNBC or MS Now, and there's been 40 reported dead, and also listen to McFaul. And he was explaining what came out of Trump's mouth yesterday was that this, in taking over the country.
Okay,
they
I am actually listening to something
on passing this to the opposition, but the VP, and he basically told the world that the opposition was not capable. So I think that was a shock. to them, and the people that were celebrating might not be celebrating anymore. So we really need to watch this closely. And that's all I was going to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate you. Yes, that's true. And this is something, we're in it, y'all. We're in the thick of it. We need to be paying attention, and following along. All right. With all of that, we now get to go to, the good stuff. I'm sorry. If I don't laugh, I cry, when it comes to the Heritage Foundation. Okay. So let me open up and share my screen. Whew. Do we see all of my mess? It's kind of, can everybody see that? Is it big enough? I don't hear anybody saying otherwise.
It's okay. Yeah, Cecilia, we can see your screen. It's beautiful.
Okay, good. Thank you. Just making sure. I didn't hear anything, and I can't, and now that I'm screen sharing, I can't, I'm gonna need y'all to monitor the chat and all that good stuff. Okay. We have read this already. Do we need to read through it again? I wanted to go straight down. We know the beginning part. I don't want to read through the beginning part of the article because the beginning part is about the stuff we already know. I wanted to read through the part that is about what the meat of the article. Okay. So I'm just going to start, if that's okay with everybody, and I'm going to stop talking. So, despite attempts by the Trump campaign to distance itself from the project, significant overlap in personnel and policy direction remains evident. Many of the plan's legislative recommendations, like shrinking the federal workforce, curtailing environmental regulations, and changing civil rights enforcement policies, are being tracked by advocacy groups and watchdogs. However, the full implementation of priorities for 2025-2026 is expected to depend on congressional cooperation and potential legal challenges. Counter the CCP. The Chinese Communist Party is the most persistent. This is a quote, by the way, sorry. The Chinese Communist Party is the most persistent and consequential foreign threat facing the American people today. It is building a military to challenge the U.S., stealing American technology at an unprecedented rate, and hurting U.S. workers with predatory economic policies. America is falling behind in this new Cold War. Heritage will push for decoupling key supply chains and key sectors of the U.S. economy from Chinese influence. Heritage will also expose U.S. firms lobbying for Chinese clients and work to end the flow of fentanyl from China that is killing 100,000 Americans per year. We will advance policies to confront China's attack on American interests and values, develop a China-resistant economy, and ensure our military is prepared to meet any threats China may pose in the future. Now, today, y'all, what we're going to do, because I believe we all agree that the Chinese Communist Party is the most persistent and consequential foreign threat facing the American people today. We can all agree with that. But what we don't agree with are some of the ways that they want to go about getting rid of or attacking it. So what we might want, kind of write down your own ideas. And what we're going to do is we're going to add it to a Google Doc here in just a minute, as soon as I find that Google Doc. Just a moment, sorry. So eliminate regulation, inflation, spending. Government spending regulations. Should we go do this one at a time?
Hey, Cecilia.
Yeah.
Cecilia, I have something you may want to consider. So I took all of the headers basically and put them in a PDF document and started like rewriting it to maybe it would be a good start and then people could build on it. And I dropped that as a PDF document into the chat.
Thank you. And actually Rebecca, sorry, I have too many Beccas in my life, made a Google Doc that I completely forgot about.
And if I had realized she did the Google Doc, I could have just dropped it into that. But just look at it because it already has the headers done and it already has like an alternate header, like a tweak on the header from a progressive standpoint, and then started filling in, what we would want as our platform. And I dropped it into the host chat. Sorry.
Ooh, thank you. I was looking, couldn't find it.
I can drop it into the regular chat too, just so people have it if they want to look at it. It might help spur some ideas.
I will now that I have, ooh, there it is. Okay. Sorry, y'all, that this is so clunky. Please give me a modicum of grace. I appreciate it. You usually do. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Policy priority number 1, counter the CCP.
So that's the original Heritage Foundation's tagline. And then there's an alternate one, okay, like that tweaks it, and then really kind of what our position would be regarding China. But like I said, it's just a starting point. So feel free to fill it in, everybody.
So anybody got any ideas about what we could do about? So we have China poses real economic security and human rights challenges. American strength comes. Bruce, go for it.
Yeah. And I think it was Judith who put it in the chat. It's not mentioned in the National Security Strategy Statement. That's correct. And even though it may be in the Heritage Foundation priorities, I don't know that it's in Trump's priorities because his Monroe Doctrine and strategic plan talk about, and Boot Money just talked about, the spheres of influence. In there, certain areas, wants us for the Western Hemisphere, and it looks like he wants Russia for Europe and China for Asia.
Right.
So he's not really addressing China, but I agree that we should because of a lot of these things that Chris has mentioned. I mean, I might think of some others, but the bottom line is they are a big threat to us, and they are stealing cybersecurity. They're breaking cybersecurity of us and stealing our intellectual property and things like that need to be countered.
Yeah, the truth is, especially with the breakup of USAID, we when he gave over USAID, we then went from playing chess to playing checkers, like on the world stage. And he doesn't seem to understand that. And I don't know how to make, he thinks he's playing this ultimate 5D chess game, and China thinks in 100-year spans. Like he cannot fathom that. This regime cannot fathom that. Sorry. Judith.
Yes, I agree with everything that you just said, Cecilia, and also with Bruce's. And the fact that this high priority, China, I think most progressives would agree we have to do something to stay competitive with China. The fact that that was not mentioned in the National Security Strategy Statement indicates to me that this government, I mean, if we needed any more evidence, that this government does things in a very piecemeal fashion without thinking anything through, which is very scary when you're talking about nuclear powers. And so it's just distressing. And and also what you just mentioned, Cecilia, about China having a very, very long-term strategy because they have less fluctuation in their government composition. Our only counter to that was having a continuous civil service with very well informed and qualified bureaucrats manning the stations for between administrations, and now they've dismantled that too. So we're really on the back foot when it comes to competition with China now for all the reasons that have been mentioned. Thanks. That was it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Judith. Would there possibly be, and this is my fantasy dream, a Soros way of hiring all ex government employees to just facilitate a way, a shadow government, literal shadow government, just to keep it, just so that we could keep it, because that is, like you say, that's the way that we as a young country have been able to keep our forward motion, is our history, our bureaucrats, our civil servants, those that were not Democrat or Republican, those that were just 30-year, 40-year people. Uh-oh, somebody's watching a movie.
No, that's the timer we were experimenting with. Beth, I don't think we need it right at this moment.
Oh, okay. Boo money.
Okay. First of all, anytime an American organization starts talking about communism, you got to raise your eyebrows because it's all bullshit. All right. Russia today is no different schematically than it was under the Romanovs. All right. China today is no different structurally and power relationship wise as it has been for 5,000 years. All right. Communism is a little stick that the mofos have used to beat on us since the end of the Second World War.
Oh,
well, go ahead, Cecilia.
I will say one thing. The people of China would disagree with you. The people on the bottom part of the rung are much better off than they used to be. Like, they used to be treated much worse than they are now.
That's right.
I'm not saying that that's communism at work. I'm just saying that
it isn't.
That's just different.
That's right. It's Chinese imperial without the imperial expansion, but it's Chinese imperial power. All right, and all they've done, you know, what the Europeans did to China is just the most immoral thing that I think any other human group has done to a large group. All right. Start with the British and the Opium Wars. And the Chinese have a very long history. Now, the people in this country, the oligarchs in this country have gone around the world and stolen everybody else's assets. We're watching that again in Venezuela. The people that run this show, and it isn't Trump, the people who run this show want the rest of the world's assets.
Yeah.
All right. Putin has offered them the Western Hemisphere, and then apparently they're going to take it.
Yeah.
All right. Communism is like Christianity. All right. It's a great promise, but in practice, it doesn't work. What works is the civilizing schematic that culture has set up. All right. We're suffering from it. The Chinese are riding on it. The Russians are imposing it, but it's all been done before. So anytime anybody starts waving this, the communist threat, it's no different than the yellow peril or the Black Revolution.
Counterpoint, Christianity doesn't work because human beings don't follow the actual words of Christ. If they would actually follow the words of Christ, give up your goods and follow me.
Well, wait a minute, because Christianity does work at the belief level.
Right.
All right. In 380 AD, Christianity changed from a belief system to an absolute control system.
There you go. Thank you. There's a tiny thank you for making that.
But anyway,
the only thing I would suggest is just because we have people who have lots of different religious beliefs or no religious beliefs on this call, I think we've gotten a little bit off the topic about what our position is as progressives on what we're going to do with China, right? Because that's what we're focusing on right now. Just okay.
That usually happens when Boot Money talks. So
I
I'm
know.
going to
So
say
I'm trying to
thank you,
redirect the
Boot.
conversation.
Hey, Cecilia. Cecilia,
Yes.
can I make a comment? I know you guys are reading.
No, Bruce
I'm
is
up
next, and then Robin.
Okay.
Bruce.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Anyway.
Sorry, Robin, I won't be that
It's
long.
okay. No, I love you, Bruce. You're
Okay.
so I love you, all your information.
Well, as to Boot Money's comments, look what's happened in human rights. Tiananmen Square, for instance, when people tried to, uprise, and what happened to them. It's certainly totalitarian, and it's not a democracy by any means. Whether you want to call it communism or not, that remains to be seen. But certainly Mao called it communism. But I have my niece's brother-in-law actually teaches at a college in China, and he wound up marrying last year a young Chinese lady. And since he's on my Facebook, he posted lots of photos, and it was a huge wedding. I mean, they had like 200 people there. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if this is a communist country, how in the world did they have that?
Oh,
And
no, they go big or go home on weddings.
yeah, so the bottom line is there are wealthy people apparently in China. Apparently.
Yes.
Oh gosh,
By
yeah,
the way,
there are a
this
lot.
couple has now had a baby, so it's real cute.
And the wedding culture in China is huge. There's just lots of it's amazing over there. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
So I was just surprised because if it was truly a communist country, it's equality basically. So
Okay.
I don't have anything else to say at this
Thank you,
point.
Bruce. I appreciate you. All right, Robin.
Hey,
Hi.
okay. I know I'm not that intelligent
Oh
like you
God, I'm
guys
not
all.
listening to this bullshit.
Who's this?
No one. That
Oh,
was Merit being
okay. Anyway,
grumpy.
Boone Money, I really love Bruce. I mean, I love everybody, but Boone Money, he knows so much about the history. Okay. Since you're in China, yeah, this is communist country. But their history, yes, they're how many years of old? 5,000 plus, maybe
Mhm.
more than that, okay? So America is only 250 years old, very young country, and all the culture here that we have, the way this country became so great because all these different cultures assimilated over here. And that's what draws all other the people want to come over here because everybody's kind of accepted. They can practice their beliefs, their religions. But I know about you when you really, really get into the nitty gritty, then you find out the racism and discrimination. For me, I'm just waking up now in my, I'm 70 years old, and I woke up when my kids, stepped into this culture here where they're not accepted,
Okay,
either way,
Robin.
So
Robin,
anyway, okay, I'm getting
what does that
sidetracked.
have to do with China and the progressive response?
The China, I'm saying that they just kept their culture there, okay? And they make everybody work so hard there,
Yeah,
which
that's true.
and that's how they have progressed, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, like Bruce said, there are some wealthy peoples. Yeah, I don't know how they could be oligarchs, okay? Just like we have over here. And in every okay, okay, even Russia.
Oh,
Look, that's so many oligarchs there. So anyway, I'm just wanted to put my 2 cents in there because I like I don't know much about the history, but I'm trying to learn why people, I can't understand why one
Okay,
human
well,
being want to take
we're
over.
gonna go deeper into the why, and thank you very much, Robin. But we're going to move on to policy priority number 2: eliminate regulation, inflation, and spending. The progressive header, the lower costs and expand freedom by making government work for people. This one,
Hey, Cecilia, can I just chime in here just real quick? Because
yeah,
I dropped something in the chat that's a meme that kind of compares the two positions. But just to kind of, because I really played around a lot with this. So what our objective is today is we're taking the Heritage Foundation's priorities for 2026, and they listed, I don't know, was it about 9 or so priorities? And then we're saying, when we look at the actual header, we're not in a lot of cases, we don't have a real problem with the header. We might make a couple of tweaks. So in this header, they want to now this, although this one may be an exception in that their priority is to eliminate regulation. Their priority is to eliminate inflation, which, okay, we're good with that, right? And their priority is to eliminate spending, but by spending, they mean government spending. Okay, meaning they're focusing on small government. So when we're reshaping it, we need to say, well, wait a minute. Do we really want to eliminate regulation? Isn't regulation in place as checks and balances to protect consumers and all that? So that's what like
and the
our assignment
environment.
is. Yes, and then for inflation, we would say how we think we need to address inflation and even the high costs because we have the corporate greed perspective, et cetera, right? And then for spending, we need to basically say, so when they say government bad, bad government, big government bad, we need to say no. Government can be good and government can work for the people. We can have healthcare and we can have, investments in our green energy infrastructure, et cetera. So anyway, I just want to shape kind of what we're doing. So what would be our counterpoints? That's what we're doing is we're doing our counterpoints. And what was so interesting about this exercise is I was thinking about those young people that were on Coffee and Conversation the other day. And they're like, we're trying to learn more about which way we should vote. So this, that meme that's in the chat, it lays out what the differences are between, well, if you believe in this is the GOP MAGA vision, or do you
Go
believe in
this
that?
way.
Or this is what we believe in. So anyway, that's what our objective is today. And I think this is a really good exercise because when we're out there talking to people, we need to be able to say why you would want to vote blue, right? And what our vision is. We
And
know what heritage is.
and anything you want to add to this, y'all, just put it in the chat and we will grab it from the chat and add it and get it out to you in the recap. Because what I was supposed to be doing is doing it like Rebecca, but I'm not like Rebecca. Let's just admit that I am not as awesome as Rebecca. And I was supposed to be doing it live while we were doing. I can't do that. I'm just not that cool this early Sunday morning. Maybe on a Thursday that would have been possible at 5 p.m., but not this early on a Sunday. So if whatever you want to add to policy priority number 2, just tag it policy priority number 2 in the chat and we will add it in. Also, yeah, y'all, I mean, right here, this is the big bad bill, right? Where they cut Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid and public spending and just all of our tax dollars. And where did our tax dollars go? I think that's a really good ambassador. I think ambassador has a great, we sent what, $40 billion to a foreign country to, and now we're going into Venezuela to run that country. Like that's going to take billions of dollars too. Like this is, yeah, Argentina. That was right. Thank you, Nora. Okay. So policy priority number 2.
Yeah, and just to add to this one, I did this assisted with AI, but initially they didn't put enough emphasis on the making the government work for people. And so, like, I think the AI missed the mark on that. And so then I reframed the question and added that. So again, their big header is eliminate regulation. So the question to the group is, do we think eliminating all regulation is a good thing? Or are there downsides of eliminating all regulation? Like, do we trust corporate America to keep our food safe? Do we trust them to keep our water safe? Do we trust them to make AI, safe? Or do we need a government that protects the rights of the people, right? So that's the question. And I think the answer is yes. And then when they say government spending is bad government spending, we shouldn't have Social Security, we should have privatized medical, et cetera, et cetera. Do we agree with that? Or do we think, like Mondami, that we can make the government work for people? So we redirect our tax dollars. And when they say things like, oh, well, they just want free childcare or free bus transportation. No, we want publicly funded things, meaning we'd rather use our money to invest in our people and the middle class and the working class versus bombing Venezuela, right? That's what we'd rather have our money spent for. So anyway, that's what our exercise is, and again, these are our talking points, right? When we try and convince people what our vision is versus what the Heritage and MAGA vision is.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. I know this is all over the place a little. I appreciate you dealing with my mess.
Cecilia,
Yes.
I put my comment in the chat.
Yes,
I
please.
think that they all need to be analyzed and determine if we've overregulated, we'd reduce it. But there may be regulations needed in areas that don't exist at the current time. So
Like AI.
that's my thought.
Yeah. Robin,
Cecilia, can I make a comment on regulations?
please do.
Yeah, I worked for the food industry. I'm a food scientist, food technologist, and worked in the manufacturing for over 40 years. And what I have seen, even though we have all these regulations, USDA, FDA, every product that we develop, okay, it has to go, if it's a meat product, it goes to USDA. If it's a non-meat product, go to FDA. You don't know how much rogue these industries are, okay? Especially the one like at the lower levels are, okay? I have seen inside. So I'm not gonna go more into it. Yes, we need all kinds of regulation, and you need honest people, even in the USDA and FDA, when they come and inspect you. Okay, it's eye-opening. What I have worked the last my job for, I mean, I had to literally quit it because I couldn't tolerate their lies. And I said, I'm not going to put my signatures on these certificates and all that. Okay. So I really had to quit that job and I retired from there. I never went back. And these people they are mafia people. Okay. They're owned by like Italians and Greeks. And so, anyways, sometimes you could have the only time when they are penalized and you really get there's a listeria break or there's some other then they be shut down then because of pressure from the public. So we do need a regulation, but we need honest people working also in the USD and FDA, okay? Because they
For
are
sure.
also bought. Okay, Cecilia, this is a little 2 cents since you are. And yes, we do need regulation because that affects our health.
I
It
agree.
affects,
And
so we need it. So we all for it, okay?
I don't
I
know if
am
y'all
for it.
remember, it wasn't too long back that we had radioactive shrimp in Great Value and Walmart. Like Walmart had radioactive shrimp. I don't know if y'all remember that. That slipped through their cracks. I don't know how radioactive shrimp slipped through your cracks. But okay, Boot Money, are you going to tell me how radioactive shrimp slipped through your cracks?
Purposely.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Walmart purpose is is okay. All right. Moving on.
No,
Moving on.
Walmart is just a distribution. All right.
Oh,
Go to
there's more.
go to the source.
Okay, I will go to this. That's
Hey,
true.
Cecilia, I just want to comment on what Chris is pointing out, and it's the problem that most of us have coming to the reality of what is this place that we live in. What Chris describes and what most Americans probably believe is that this system makes the pie bigger. All right. That has never been uh, the way the scheme and the system works in this country. This country always has functioned to drive uh, ownership and possession upward. All right. It has never been what it says it is.
Right.
It's always been making the pie smaller for a very few people. And it's functioned very well because it's been based on, this wholesale propaganda that somehow we stop questioning. All right. And I think that's really what's missing in where we're at right now, that Americans have stopped questioning the very basis of our existence. We're not matching the reality to what the fantasy is. All right.
Right.
And it goes back, I think, Cecilia, I might have mentioned this before. Let's go back to this supposed revolution. Who benefited? All right. Who
Right.
benefited from the American Revolution? Because it wasn't the farmers.
I know.
All right. So let's, we've got to put these things in the proper context. And really, if progressives could actually direct the system, the pie would continue to grow wider. All right. And there'd be more slices. But the way the oligarchs, the way the colonials have set up the system, everything
Did you hear that
drives
music,
upward.
or did you just ignore it like the people at the Oscars?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm going to have an Oscar. Yeah. I just
Thank you,
ignored it,
Boot
Cecilia,
Money.
just for you.
I appreciated that very much. That was lovely. Okay. All right. I didn't realize there was more to this. Okay. So inflation has been driven largely by corporate power, not by programs that help people. This is very well done by you and your AI. And I agree with all of this. Okay, so again, if you have anything for policy priority number 2, make sure you drop it in the chat and we will add it to the mix. So moving on to policy.
And I was going to say, when you guys add those, I'm seeing your comments, we'll integrate it into the document so we can have this and you guys can use it.
Yeah, and I apologize for my chat being all wonky, but it is just being wonky because it wants to make me
and like Cecilia said, it would be helpful if you put which policy priority you're referencing. So put
Yes, please
policy
do.
priority, whatever, and then say add this or change this or whatever. Yeah.
That would be super helpful. Thank you. I apologize again. I should have the Google document up and I don't. Please, you can put that when you get the survey afterwards, please put that in. Say, Cecilia, you're no Rebecca. Put that in.
Stop apologizing.
Okay, fine. I'm not apologizing. All right.
You were.
All right.
Okay, let's go. Let's move.
Policy priority number 3, end the border and immigration chaos. Fix the immigration system lawfully, humanely, and effectively. And that's the important part. Fix the immigration system. They just shut the border. They haven't done anything about the actual system, right? Okay, so we need a functional immigration system that is secure, lawful, and humane. Chaos is not solved by cruelty. It is solved by competence. Very well put. Progressive support modern border security paired with legal pathways to work, citizenship, faster and fair asylum process, which is required by international law, accountability for employers and traffickers, and investments in border communities. Immigration strengthens America when it is managed with dignity, efficiency, and respect for the rule of law. I would go so far as to say we will not survive without immigration. Our lowering birth rate will be solved by immigration. All of our problems will be solved by immigration. Social Security will be solved by immigration. Sabrina.
Is Cecilia?
Good morning. Oh my gosh, my girl. Get well.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple days. So I'm sorry. This is probably on me. Was I supposed to read the Project 2026 before we got on here?
No. But this is Sunday Seconds, so we already read
Oh, okay.
we read it on Thursday, but it is in the chat if you want.
Okay.
It's not very long. It is just it's very, very, very so if you want to read through it, you can yeah, you can read through that real fast. And yeah, you kind of were supposed to, I mean, we read through it on Thursday and we were supposed to come in with ideas to
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was on me.
To basically counter it. So basically
Got it.
what an observation we made is in the policy areas they describe. If you read the headers and didn't read the content after it, there were meant like, the threat of China. We agree with that. There is a threat for China. But what do we think needs how do we think we need to address that threat? Or do we believe, they said we shouldn't have regulation. We need to get rid of regulation. That might be something that we disagree with and say, no, actually regulation has a function to protect people. So that's what we're doing, is just kind of going through, offering the progressive counterpoint.
Okay. Sorry.
Morning.
That's on me. I've been out of it for a couple
It's
days.
okay, hon. I understand. You need to rest. All right.
And you know what's interesting, you guys, because I opened up the project, 2025, 26 priority document. They don't get specific in this particular one about ending the border and immigration chaos. Like it's funny how they're not specific in this one. It's just like, oh, we need to follow rule of law. We need to not have chaos. But then they don't say, and that means we want to end all immigration. That means we want to, like they don't have their bad policies in there.
Right, because this isn't that. This is their aspirations. This is their dreams. This was them so high off of getting so far, so much done in off of 2025. This is what we want to do in 2026. So
it's just that they're not specific, as all my point was on this one. Like it's almost like they're hiding what their real agenda is, because they know that most Americans actually support legal immigration, but their new priority is ending legal immigration.
Ending legal immigration. And I think it's in Project 2025 specifically, so I don't think they have to, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. I apologize. Bruce, go for it.
Yeah, excuse me. I think in addition to what's here, although perhaps it's covered to some extent, to support legislation for increased immigration, because right now Trump is doing it on his own, and whereas we could have up to I don't know the numbers, let's say 125,000 come in, he's only allowing 5,000. So I think we need legislation to strengthen the number of immigrants that can come in, and to because then they're going through vetting, for criminal history and so forth. And in addition, to enable them to have a pathway to citizenship, yes, and that it includes fair procedures for requesting political asylum. So those would be my suggested additions.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Did you put that in the chat, Bruce, or can you put that in the chat, please?
No, it's okay. I have it on the transcript. Bruce.
Will it be in the transcript?
It's okay. I got it on the transcript. I'm good.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
All right, Julie.
I just want to say, and I'm not really sure how it would fit into the progressive mix, but Social Security, and I just read an article, I don't know where, I'll try to find it. Social Security and Medicare programs are suffering right now because of the mass expulsion of immigrant workers. So that, and that kind of goes along with maintaining our social programs and putting the money there. Along with that, I agree with Bruce. We need, as we've needed for decades now, we need a more comprehensive immigration law. I don't know if we need to piece that out. Comprehensive has never worked before. Maybe we need to do it little by little. I would start with the dreamers. They need, to be prioritized, and we have more than now. As far as letting people in legally, I think a lot more people are here legally per se, uh, for the process, as they've requested asylum, which the other side has accused Biden of catch and release. That's been like that for a long, long time, and it has the percentage of people that actually show up for their hearings and all that has worked. They're making it appear that it doesn't. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but I hope you got my points, and I'll try to put something in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
That was lovely, and I agree. Robin.
Yeah, I want to say something on the border and immigration chaos. If these people want to really solve the issue, they can do it overnight, okay? These people who are like the Orange Men or whoever it is, they're the one who taking advantage of the immigrants. You go look at it's a golf course or Mar-a-Lago, they're the one who really, really mistreating. They will bring these people from other countries, or especially I would say from Mexico, mostly the other countries like Asia. I know there are like I'm from Punjab. I'm not born here, but I'm raised here. But what I see in my community, there are some people where they will give all their money, what they have back home. They will sell their land and give it to these corrupt people, or these rogue people, and somehow I don't know how they get them into this state. Okay, it's a mind-boggling, and the process that they do, Cecilia, they die. A lot of them, they die in the process. Okay, it's seen it. Okay, so I am for legal process, because that's how my parents came, and we came through our parents. Okay, so this need to end. Okay, so they can do it overnight. This Texas border or wherever it is, this is all bullshit what they're doing. Okay, this is just they don't want to solve this issue. Be honest with you. Okay, so you, me, Chris, Bruce, it's out of our hands. Okay, these are big fish, big people sitting on the top who are benefiting. Even all these industry manufacturing going to, even now going, how many illegal people are working there, and how fake paperwork there. I'm just surprised. I don't even know how to make even one
I would
little fake
agree with
thing.
you completely that we need all of that, everything you just said, and that they don't care about the people. We're losing the people. These are human beings that we're talking about, and that. Go ahead.
Let me finish the last sentence. We all need, yes, we need, like I cannot, my husband, we are zero when it comes to the landscaping, taking care of the lawn and trees and all that, okay? So I do pay a lot of money. These people are illegal, and I pay top money to them. I never take advantage of cleaning in my house. I can't do it. I'm so old. I have a lot of medical issue. I can't just survive. So I have to. So anyway, they're in the country. So I don't know. So anyway, you guys are so sweet. I mean, so sweet to the immigrants. All my neighbors are so sweet, you know. So my heart goes to these immigrants, but the thing is they need to the big people are controlling the border. They are the one need to really, really control so they don't come. If they come, you just give them work visas at the border.
I agree,
Document
Robin.
them.
And
Okay,
we
Cecilia, I'm
need,
gonna go. Okay, I just got a
I
little
think,
excited about this.
thank you very much. I appreciate you. And that is exactly what we're talking about. This is something that could be revamped overnight. They had a bipartisan bill that was ready and done by one of the most, okay, Langford. I grew up in Oklahoma, y'all. Langford is one of the most right-wing conservative senators that there is, and he's the guy who constructed that bill. And the only reason that they turned it down was because they needed something to run on. Robin
Trump
is correct.
urged that.
Yeah, Robin is correct. They keep the border chaos going because they need something to run on. Correct. Okay, they won't fix the system lawfully. All right, moving on. Policy
Hey,
prior.
Cecilia,
Oh,
real quick. I just want to do something just based on some comments in the chat. So what I'm going to do, because I know some people may not have had an opportunity to read the original document, I just posted it because it's very short. So priority 4, Heritage Foundation's thing, I did a screenshot of what they said. So their focus is on election integrity, right? Which is their code word for solving a problem, like implying that elections need to be tightened up because there's massive fraud. And we know there isn't massive fraud. So what is the progressive response to that? But if you haven't read the Heritage Foundation or you just forgot because we read it last week, right? It's now in the chat and I'll do that for each priority. So you have a chance to glance at it and then you can come up with your counterpoints. Okay, back to Cecilia.
all right. So for policy priority number 4, I kind of choked when I first read this. I was like, election integrity. They're so funny. Ha 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 ha. Because y'all, they don't care. They have been okay, the reason why he screamed about 2020 being a stolen election is because he totally planned on stealing his next election, right? He put that out into, it's stolen. I mean, other than the fact that you know, he puts out this fake news, fake news, fake news, right? He puts it out so that we don't believe what we are hearing. And they try to make us not believe lose our belief in all of this. And now they're trying to say they want to ensure election integrity. Okay, whatever. We, however, want free and fair elections, and we believe that they depend on access, trust, and accountability, not voter suppression or manufactured doubt. They want the SAVE Act, where everybody has to, show ID and everything, and where women have to show ID that coincides with their birth certificate, and that also is not just women, that affects trans people, etc. It affects me because I was adopted when I was a kid. Like, y'all, it's out of control. Anyway, all right. Progressives protect election integrity by expanding access to voting, safeguarding election workers, preventing intimidation, ensuring accurate counting and certification, and respecting verified results. Respecting verified results. Voter fraud is rare. Voter suppression is real. Democracy works best when every eligible voter can participate. All of this is true, and there are multitudes of ways to ensure election integrity. Our way, the United States way, is not the only way. And I know that we often fall into this trap, but there are democracies around the world that do voting differently than we do. And They do it with wonderful results and wonderful election integrity. And we could learn a few things from them. But I digress. Bruce, what would you like to add?
Okay. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act needs to be passed.
Yes.
It came close last time, but if I recall, the two senators, Manchin and Sinema, wouldn't go for doing away with the filibuster for that one. So it didn't have enough votes in the Senate. But that's one thing. And if you look at the Section 5 that the Supreme Court gutted in the Voting Rights Act, that's something that Congress can rectify by doing another study. And at least that's my thoughts on it. So I think they need to, and if something happens to Section 2, with the current Supreme Court, those need to be analyzed to see if there's something that Congress can do to overcome that, because there should not be racial discrimination relating to gerrymandering. And that's another point. I think there needs to be a nationwide independent commission for each state to do its borders. It can't just be blue states, it needs to be all states. And to the extent that that can be done without infringing on states' rights, that certainly would be a goal, to have all states do that. And then you wouldn't have what's going on now with, trying to redistrict based on that. And I also think it should include political party, not just race, but also political party, which was another Supreme Court decision about 5 or 6 years ago that said you could do it on political party. Well, I don't think it should be political party either. So I'd add those to there. And sorry, Chris, it's too much to put in the chat.
No, and I agree with you. I was looking at it because it's the first time I've kind of looked at it really, really closely. And yeah, the gerrymandering redistricting definitely is missing in this and needs to be addressed. But back to the kind of what we're doing. So they're saying we need to focus on election integrity, and by code that means figuring out how to make it more difficult for people to vote, right? Because they're saying there's this made up pretend fraud. What we're saying is no, actually, we need to really make sure that it's easy for people to vote, meaning whether it's, mail-in elections or same-day registrations, all of those things, because freedom to vote is what protects our democracy. So as we're talking to people and they say, well, I'm not really sure which side I agree with, that's the comparison. That's the difference.
And
Understood.
The question then remains, why do they not want people to have freer access to vote, freer and easier access to vote, right? Why do they want fewer?
Because they don't really believe in democracy is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they want to keep their programs are very, like right now, their programs are very unpopular, and they don't want a lot of people who would be impacted by what they're doing to be able to vote. Right. And that's another thing I forgot to mention was the Department of Justice has filed all those lawsuits to get the voter data of the voters in each state. And I think that needs to be addressed, that we shouldn't be doing that.
That's completely illegal.
This is private data of people.
I agree with you, Bruce. That's just totally illegal. Robin, how can I help you on this topic?
Cecilia and Dr. Chris. Yeah, Dr. Chris has a really good point, and Bruce as well. I'm trying to really understand this whole 3 branches of government, and I'm a naturalized citizen, and I feel so proud to be American, and I feel so blessed to be here. What I accomplished here, I could never be able to accomplish back home. Okay, so I'm trying to these people are talking about the integrity, and they are the road. All this gerrymandering, like Dr. Chris is saying, I mean, they are trying to steal everything. They're trying to suppress women so we can't vote. We can have, oh my God, it really, I mean, I really. So another thing I was just asking my husband, he doesn't get into politics, but he's a brilliant guy. He keeps a balance of everything. He doesn't get excited. And he watches sports, he politics, whatever, what's going on, but he doesn't get involved. Okay. So I was asking this electoral college where each state, it doesn't matter if it's a little tiny bitty and they still have two senators. And then especially in the president election, then they put it together. You need how many electoral, like 265 or something to
Yes.
win. You think we could change that based on the population? Wherever it's a more population like California, Illinois, we can have more of those than I don't know. I mean, this is my 2 cents, but my husband's saying no. The founders set it in such a way that small states has a equal share.
Okay, so let me just real quick. Yes, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. The Electoral College was put in place because of slavery. Let's just be
Oh,
very clear about that. They wanted they
oh,
wanted the southern states wanted equal, yeah, that it had to do with
oh.
slavery. So we need to get rid of that because
But
there's
we
there's just
don't
no
think,
reason that we
how are
should
we going
still
to
have
get
it.
rid of Cecilia?
Well, Bruce, how do we get rid of the Electoral College?
Constitutional amendment.
Thank
How are
you.
you going to do that?
Well, right now you won't be able to, but maybe someday we will.
We'll be
But
dead.
I thought of another thing that I left out,
Real
which is
quickly, we need
Citizens
to elect
United.
the right people to get that a constitutional amendment. But go
They
on,
should
Bruce.
elect
Yeah,
all
well,
the women now, okay? We will straighten out this country.
Okay, go on, Bruce.
we also, because it's elections, we have to deal with Citizens United. And I know that Jim has said he thinks it can be done by legislation. And I think it needs a constitutional amendment.
Yeah,
But in
me
any
too.
event, I would say putting in here addressing Citizens United, because you can't have all this money going into elections.
I think
So,
that's the first thing that needs to be addressed.
so Bruce, so there is a hope to change the Constitution?
Well, maybe down the road, because frankly, those who are benefiting, both, and it's got to get through Congress, and then 30 something states have to pass it. So
Both
it's
parties
hard to
are
do.
benefiting.
Yeah.
And establishment Dems are still benefiting. So we have to get the right people in to vote that out. We
So
will.
I added that to the chat. So the Electoral College stuff, the Citizens United, and the other thing that Ezra and Leah always talk about is DC and Puerto Rico statehood.
Yes.
So because they don't have a voice, but just because of time, we're only halfway through. There's 9 priorities. We're now getting ready to start priority number 5. We'll just transition, and I will drop the screenshot of the Heritage Foundation's document in the chat. And so this is the one where they're talking about, they call it expand educational freedom. That's code for do school vouchers and try and privatize all the schools. Okay,
And
so
get rid of the Department of Education.
and get rid of the Department of Education. Exactly.
Right.
One thing, Chris, on Puerto Rico, if they want it. If
Yes,
they
if they want
want
it, of
it.
course. Of course.
Okay. So about our education, I'm just going to say to begin with, before all of this mess, George W. sent us on the horrific path of No Child Left Behind, which broke down our education system terribly.
Kennedy supported it.
I'm not saying that Democrats are not to blame here, y'all. We have not supported our public education system properly. This is how we have gotten to a point where we have an unintelligent electorate. Okay? This is how we've gotten here. So we need, on the progressive side, we need to pump in so much more money into our education that it's so much more than it was before. I mean, we need to think bigger, like so much bigger than before, right? And the reason is because if we educate our, not just our kids, but our adults, educate our adults too, y'all. Everybody. We need to just educate our electorate. Then with free education, okay? Free, good, solid education, we will see a beautiful renaissance. This is what happened during the Renaissance, okay? And I just desperately need that for us. Yeah, any other ideas about expanding educational freedom? Robin, did I ask you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, can I say something? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are you finished? I mean, talking about policy priority number. Are you done, Cecilia?
I mean, we're still talking about policy priority number
Oh,
5.
go ahead, because I thought maybe the rule is when I just wanted to raise my hand so that then I can say something. But go ahead and finish your number
Honey,
5.
we are focusing on, I mean, what do you want to talk about? We're not just here to chat. We're here to do.
Yeah, but can we say the comments while you're saying it, or
Oh,
do we
yeah.
wait?
Are you commenting about public education and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, come on, let's go.
Okay, so yeah, it is very important that we start the public from the day the baby is born, even the baby is in the stomach of the mom. That's where we should start. The also the nutrition, so that they have the right, they grow up
Oh, yeah, that's true.
healthy. Okay, so okay, that's all I want to say.
Okay, fair. I will be honest. My baby was listening to a lot of music in the womb, everything from Bach to Tool. She really liked Tool. She got all bouncy and crazy, and then fell right asleep. Yes, Bruce.
You don't address book banning.
I don't. Oh, book banning. That is. We need to put that in there. Yes.
But some things are not appropriate for students. We talked about shades of gray. That wouldn't be appropriate. It's got to be age appropriate.
Correct. And actually, okay, so Illinois has outlawed book bans. But there are in schools, like you say, there are guidelines. Like you can't put Lorno in schools. You can't put like legitimate adult
sexual
content into schools. Now, unless it's like biology, which is something completely different. Let's, but I digress. Okay.
And Cecilia,
and DEI.
And right, all of that, correct.
Cecilia, can I say when pregnant, mother, I think they should really take care of them. They should make them really like they don't even give you the time. I remember I have 3 children, and how each pregnancy, how I had to pull through.
We're not talking about pregnancy right now. We're talking about education.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Stephanie, you're up next. I think you have.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I'd just like to encourage everyone as we talk about book banning and sexuality to remember everything that gets dropped under that as a way to prevent age-appropriate content being actually allowed in our schools. Sexual content was the first usage of eliminating any non-nuclear family content in our libraries. Please be conscious of the fact that when you use the term sexual content, you're probably talking about books like me in libraries growing up. Just understand how that gets used.
I do understand that, but again,
I know you do. Moving on.
But I did not mean to interrupt you, but real quickly, Illinois made a subset specifically explaining that because of what you're talking about, because Moms for Freaking Liberty were trying to come in and get LGBTQIA and, you know, like queer authors out booted and young YA queer authors booted, which y'all, that's how they roll, right? They try to find that little niche and get in. Anyway, sorry, Stephanie, did you put your hand back up?
No, thanks. I'm good. I mean, it was just a point of notice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cecilia.
Yes, ma'am.
So are they going to eliminate all the sex education like in the elementary school and middle school?
Yes, they in Project 2025, they have it down to abstinence only education, to where you only learn about sex education as a form of, you know, abstinence only is the way, and sex is only good inside a marriage, and blah 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 blah. We go over this in Project 2025. Is they definitely do not want people to understand.
Actually, you know, I come from an Eastern background where they don't talk about any of this, even like nothing. And I was very happy that my children here were taught, you know, so they knew, you know, even I was shocked to know my second grader, that they teach, you know, they actually
Age appropriate.
age
For sure.
right, they will take to the museum. And then actually I happened to ask my young, and I was surprised the answers you know, they were given to me, and I said, wow, how ignorant I was and how smart these kids are, so they can protect themselves, you know.
Exactly.
So
So
they
they can protect themselves.
this Christian, I mean, I love all the religions. So the Christianity, I mean, supposed to teach the morals, but they start, you know, I don't know, I'm so conflicted with their teachings, that how they do this, and then behind closed doors, what they're doing to the children in the churches.
I
And
think one
yeah.
day we will have a more deeper dive into Christianity and their hypocrisy, but right now, we do not have the time for that, Robin. I
Sounds good.
apologize.
Okay. No worries, no worries, no worries.
Hey,
No worries.
so as we're transitioning to policy priority number 6, which is fight big tech abuses, this is an interesting one because even though they have a lot of language, I just dropped it in the chat, like fight woke policies and all that. This is probably something progressives and, you know, the Heritage Foundation can agree on, is regulating big tech. So other than their you know, weird language in this, woke elites and all that other kind of stuff, I think we probably all agree that big tech needs to be regulated, right? So anyway, so that we're setting you up for number 6. So we just transitioned. Anybody have any comments? I don't know where Cecilia is. Not seeing her.
Linda had her hand up.
Okay, I think Cecilia may have dropped off the call, but we'll keep it going until she joins us again. Go ahead, Linda.
Hi, you've already transitioned. I'm sorry. My comment is about education.
Okay.
And for years, I taught at anywhere from kindergarten through 8th grade. And what we were given on textbook adoption types of groups, some of our choices were hideous. It was like the rewriting of history, totally rewriting history, not acknowledging any type of immigrants that came to this country, not acknowledging any differences, not respecting differences, not respecting other points of view. Most of my classes when I taught at the junior high level was like the United Nations coming through the door. Being a special ed teacher, I got kids from countries all over the world coming into my classroom. And without proper books, without proper learning, without a perspective that gives everybody a fair chance and gives them the idea that there isn't one right way to look at something, but there are many points of view, you are dumbing America, just dumbing it down. And you're not giving kids a real education. You're stifling their learning. And to not suggest that kids need to have sex education classes or in health and all this other stuff is crap because they need it. We had too many kids getting pregnant in the middle school level. That could have been avoided. But as teachers, we were stifled by the books we were allowed to teach from. But we found more and more parents expecting us to do their role.
Yes, thank you, Linda. No, those are all really good points. Yeah, so that whole reversioning that we're seeing happening with history, making sure that we don't have the Christian evangelical view of the age of the earth and evolution, et cetera. And then your point about the sex education, et cetera, as part of our health curriculum. Yeah, all those are great points, and I have them added. So we are going to transition back now, or make officially the transition to the next topic, which is fighting big tech. And I will call on Beth because I see your hand up. Beth Ann, sorry about that.
That's okay, Chris. Yeah, big tech does need to be controlled, and I agree with it 100%. However, I think the way they're going to want the control established is a way we need to make sure that corporate greed doesn't enter into these policies, because I suspect that they're not going to want their buddies affected. And so they're going to come up with regulations that are going to make sure their buddies are taken care of, quote unquote. And so I don't know exactly how to come up with a progressive regulation for it without being extremely strict.
Well, at one point we had things like, remember we had the fact checkers on social media. They were required to be there. And then the Trump administration pressured Meta and others to eliminate those. So those would be starting points. Like there should be consequences for these AI fakes. There should be consequences and guys, there are in Europe. Europe has policies about this. So
maybe we need to look at some of those to help us incorporate them
100%.
instead of, maybe we need to look at some other countries and the European policies to help us develop what our progressive policies might be, because they might be very applicable and useful info.
Yes, agreed. And I saw that Julie put in the chat about regulating the AI centers as it relates to the use of resources, et cetera. And that's another huge focus. So yeah, and all right. So thanks, Beth Ann.
And the only thing
I'm
is
gonna
that
move
if
on
they
to
cut out
Sabrina.
environmental regulations, then those AI centers will get built because there'll be no environmental regulations related to AI centers.
Yeah, well, and that's why in the earlier version where they were saying get rid of regulation, our progressive Dem counterpoint, right, was, oh no, we need regulations because regulations protect people and health, et cetera. So we've already kind of countered it in that area. All right, so we are going to move on to Sabrina, who is the next one with her hand up.
Yeah, I just want to say real quickly, sorry, under the education, special needs is going to be a real issue. They're already weakening the strength of an IEP, which is used to help ensure children with special needs get all the support they need so that they have an equivalent education to children who don't have special needs. So that's going to be another one we're really going to have to watch closely.
Yeah, so that's something we need to make sure we add in the whole Department of Education and the protections of special needs, et cetera. Yeah, agreed. All right, I think Bruce is up next, and after him, it is Marta.
Okay, on technology. Um, and I don't know the statute that it's in, but apparently there's some provision in statute that gives them immunity as to what gets posted on their platforms. And I think that needs to be addressed. If anyone knows more about that, they probably should talk about it. But I've seen comments about that, that this would certainly be helpful.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce.
Okay, I apologize to interject. Host here. I disappeared because I didn't have my computer plugged in and I was sharing my screen so I couldn't see my battery flashing at me to tell me that I was dying. Many apologies, and I'm so glad that I was not the host so that you all didn't disappear with
Get
me.
dropped off. Well, Cecilia, just to catch you up. So while you were gone, what we did is we closed out the education one. There were a couple of alibis or things that were good ads, like the special needs piece of that. And then rewriting history. And then we're through. I'm pretty sure, unless Marta has a comment on big tech, I think we're ready to transition from big tech to the next one. But that's where we are. So I'll turn it back
Okay, well,
over to you.
I can't share my screen because I'm not a co-host. But if y'all don't want me to, if y'all already have it, it's fine.
No, we probably do need the screen shared again. So Beth, can you make her a co-host? Because I forgot how to do that.
Or Bill can.
Or Bill
Don't know
can.
how to do it.
Oh, okay. Bill, can you make Cecilia a co-host?
Thank you. And Marta, you can go right on ahead. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, mine is kind of expand education freedom, the digital sovereignty, and then the put family first, just because I've been mulling it over since.
How you doing? Good, thank you. Good.
Sorry, go ahead, Marta.
Hey, Marta, can I just ask a clarifying question? So
Yes.
are you starting, so priority number 7 is put family first. Are you ready to comment on that one? Is that what I heard?
So what I'm going to comment on is just kind of a little bit on the education, but it's actually a sort of a pattern for that one and the next two that kind of occurred to me in terms of how to think about this. And I was thinking about, in order to form a more perfect union, that all of these, if we think in order to, and then what it is we're looking for. So some of the titles stay the same and some of the titles we would change. But for example, for education, it might be in order to form a nation of critical thinkers, in order to form a citizenry built on mutual concern and respect, in order to place trust of disseminating religious values back in the hands of parents, which I was thinking would be a way of saying that's a job for the parents, not the schools. And then for big tech, in order to prevent big tech interference in elections, or to flip their title, that digital sovereignty, in order to restore sovereignty of citizens over digital platforms. And then that other one, in order to put family first, ours might look different, like living wages and everything else, along those lines. But it's just kind of helping me personally think about how to respond to all of this and put it more in our own goals.
For sure. Thank you. That's a really great way to look through this. Sorry, Dr. Chris, I did not mean to take over for you. I was just letting everybody know.
We're good. So that was a good segue. So we're now ready to transition to policy priority number 7, which is put family first. But I'm going to do the code here. So to set this up. So
Are we done with the number 6?
Oh,
yes, we are. We're transitioning on to number 7. So but if you have any additional comments, Robin, you can put them in the chat. So just because for time, we still have to get through number 9. So put family first is their code for put the nuclear family, one father, one mother, and one and a gaggle of children.
Cis hetero.
Yes, exactly. And so, so the possible progressive reframing of that was support all with the emphasis on all families with
Right.
freedom, dignity, and security. And then we can go from there. And I did drop I did drop the Heritage Foundation's, the screenshot in the chat. Because I think this is also where they talk about abortion. So anyway.
Right.
Anybody have any comments on the put family first?
And this is, hold on real quick. This is incredibly deceptive because this is also where they try to get rid of divorce for females. So and bodily autonomy. This is all about, this is control systems where they're putting in place systems of control to control females. So do pay close attention and put forth what we consider proper family and bodily autonomy policies for, progressives. Sorry, go ahead, Robin.
Oh, okay. Support all family with the freedom, dignity, and security. I'm all for it. And do you know you can correct me, whatever, but I'm gonna, since you guys don't really judge, I'm gonna say what is on my mind. It's very, very important when we bring a child, if we're gonna bring a child into this world, we gotta make sure that the parents are in a good, stable position financially, emotionally, all those prominent. Otherwise, this child grows up and they're just not stable in the environment. Okay, so for me, it is very, very important that there are two parents, but nowadays it's really confusing, with all this ritual and all that. Then you can, so I don't know, I'll be honest with you, how it's going to have very stable, like a psychological, like a mental stability in the new generation. So for me, like we are taught to just stay in the relationship. Doesn't matter. It's a commitment that you made with your partner. Okay, so in difficult time, happy time, you are together and you raise that
Robin,
child.
there is a
That's it.
difference. I believe I understand what you're saying. Commitment is important, and I believe in the vows that people take. I do, and but domestic violence exists,
It
and
does. I agree. It does exist. But the thing is, here we are dating for so, look, okay, it's applied to my kids here too. Okay, they're born here. They date, they're living together. And then when they tie up the knots and they get real certificate, why do they need that? They don't need, I didn't even have it when I got married. I got married in Canada. That's so I don't
Hey
know.
guys,
okay.
I'm
Now,
gonna chime in here because Rebecca's not here as the timekeeper, but I'm trying to keep us all on track. But I think Robin, we understand your point. So and Beth Ann Oliver, you are up next. If you have anything to add to the topic that we're talking about right now related to families.
I'm sorry.
Yes, my one question is there another sociological term that can be used instead of the word families? Because I just feel that it's because there's so many, because of this nuclear family and the traditional things, that I don't believe that that's really applicable in today's culture and society. I therefore feel that there needs to be another term used.
Maybe the contrast is we basically say families look different, right?
Yeah.
Meaning there isn't one size fits all families, right? There's so I'm just saying, instead of rejecting the term family, basically we reject their definition of a nuclear family.
We redefine it for sure. Also, I keep losing my
I don't
thought.
know. I still think we need to find another word that we use in our colloquialism.
I
Um,
agree.
That's not, for example, if you use caregiver, that's going to be really odd and people aren't going to get it. But I think there has to be another term. Because
so
what
if
about
you
grandparents? What about grandparents that are raising children? What about
That's family.
I think that's family.
But I understand what you're saying, Beth
I
Ann.
mean,
We use family, which is not helpful, linguistically.
Okay.
But we add that R, like, because you choose. There is family that you choose, people that you are not blood related to, that you pull into your life, that you would fight or die for, ride or die for, right? People that you would, that's your family. Those are people, your soul tribe.
Okay.
Cecilia, can I say a word?
Word? Yes, go for it.
Okay, because this is a very interesting topic for me. I mean,
That's more
they're
than
all
one word,
interesting, but the thing, the way I look at it, bringing the family, uh, if we don't have a nuclear system to raise a child, especially a child, it's okay. If you're childless, it's okay. But once you have the child, and it is very important to have a nuclear system where not only just the parents, there are grandparents, there are relatives. It takes a village
You're
to
correct,
raise
but
one
they don't
child.
have to be blood relations. You
They
can
don't need
create
to
that
be, yeah.
family.
But the thing is that the woman put into a very bad situation where now a woman has to work, bring the equal pay and support, and at the same time, she has to make babies, run the house, do the
Doesn't
cooking,
have to
and
make
all
babies.
that. And that's where the problem is. That's why the system is broken here in this Western culture, or even Eastern culture. Same thing happening
I
over there
understand,
too.
Robin, that you think people have to be married to have babies, but I was not married and I had a
No,
baby,
no,
and
no.
my daughter grew up and she was
No,
loved
no,
and
no, no,
she was.
Cecilia. No, I'm not saying that you got to be married to have a baby. I'm saying to have a stable society, and that
I didn't
and
have that
the
either.
then it's very, I mean, this is my 2 cents, okay, Cecilia?
Mhm.
But we're living in a society where everybody, they get married and second husband, third, fourth, fifth.
Yes, I
I
know,
mean,
honey.
woman is
Okay.
even
We're not
woman.
going to outlaw getting divorced and getting remarried. I'm
There
sorry.
shouldn't be any, you know what? There shouldn't be any such people just to live together. That's it. There
Well,
shouldn't be anything
we
about
will
it.
we will put that in. We will put in your suggestion. Sabrina.
Yeah, there shouldn't be these legal systems to put in. If you don't get along, then you deport.
Okay, Robin. Sabrina.
Hey, yeah, I was just going to say some of the things that are currently happening in America, I hope we can adopt as more the progressive ones. So, like universal child care, because it's getting so expensive. Like the cost of.
New Mexico just did that.
Yes. So I think definitely we need to include more policies that support families, because actually, if you look at the research, the nuclear family is not the ideal situation. Going to it actually has hurt a lot of families in a lot of ways. So I would say, yeah, we definitely need a bigger definition of what family is, and we promote that. But I think the policies like childcare, universal childcare, that's really going to help families, making sure they have a living wage, a minimum living wage, and that if they don't, we support them, because the children always should be supported. And honestly, in my opinion, the parents do. I don't think there's any human that shouldn't be supported. I'm sorry. I think our prisoners should be treated better too. But anyway.
Programs that support those children and like single parents, whether they be women or men, would help astronomically. But but whatever, let's send our money to Argentina.
Yeah, right. Or invade Venezuela.
Right.
Geez. And also, I wanted to say, and I don't know if it fits under family or whatever, but we need to have a long-term plan like the Republicans, I will give them this. They know how to plan. They
Yeah.
know how to plan and they know how to propaganda. And we need to learn those two things. Ours will be good propaganda. It'll be positive. It'll be truthful. But it still needs to be, because some people aren't going to want to invest in the details like we do. Right?
I know we're in the,
So
that's
we
what
need
we're
to
doing
start,
right here in the process.
and so children in school, we should be teaching them everything we can. Get in as much as we can with critical thinking, understanding money, understanding politics, understanding power, understanding money. Money, 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 money. That is a big thing. So I just think we need to start long-term planning like they do.
Yeah, I hear you. And I foresee, y'all, if they do break down our education system, I foresee progressive schools like in the future. But Marta.
Yeah, so I was thinking if we just switched it to put children first, then you've taken out the whole thing about
family.
What's a family? Because really the whole point of talking about the family is to talk about how children are supported.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and
Hold on.
that would be the living wage and nutrition, access to books. Also, this kind of, I'm sorry, but it goes here too. It kind of goes back to the education, but a free and equal education system. So, I've mentioned before that my dad was Cuban and had not a good thing to say about anything in Cuba except for he loved it there, but how the government was run, except for the fact that all the education money went in one pot and was equally distributed throughout the country. So there was not a school that had, we didn't have a New Trier and then a Chicago public school that's really struggling along. All the money went into one pot. So I know that's super radical, but I've always thought it only seemed fair. Like our fates are all tied together. The money for how much is spent on kids should be, tied together school by school. But anyway, if we just switch that to put children first, whether people agree or disagree with that idea, it takes out, the whole thing of anyone defining what a family is and really makes it about the environment a child is in.
But it also takes out aging parents and families that don't have children.
Yeah,
Is
so
there anything
I have neighbors. I have many neighbors that are, well, they're a husband and a wife and
Dogs?
no children, and yes, and some have dogs and some have cats. But I think they would define themselves as a family.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm saying in looking at these goals that they have, this is about what affects children, right?
No,
I'm not talking
expanding
about, I
healthcare
just don't
access.
think we need to define family.
This is more than just children, Marta. This has more I mean, I agree with you that a large focus of it is the children, but and their focus is a lot on the children, but we also need to include everybody else. Like it is our responsibility to not be so hyper focused on
Yeah,
just
well,
one.
and their focus is on having one definition of a family.
Right.
Actually
And we can't fall into that
intended
trap.
to exclude people. It's saying there's one ideal definition. That is a father, a mother, and a gaggle of children. Okay, that's what they believe is the only version of the family that should be promoted. And we're countering that and saying no. Families look different,
Different.
it could be, Sabrina's family is her mother, I mean, we have aging parents that live in family units. We have people like my neighbors who are, a married couple and don't intend to have children. So families, have lots of different, we have lots of different
iterations.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm not disagreeing with any of that, obviously. I'm just saying I think it's almost like two different things. One is, are you defining a family? And the other is, are you talking about things that support what kids need in this country to grow and thrive? And I think those can be two different buckets.
I agree, but this isn't just talking about kids. This section was talking about healthcare, abortion access, like it was talking about a lot of things. So if we take out that word family and switch it to just children, we are falling into the same trap that they do, and we are excluding a large portion of people.
Yeah, and
I'm saying
I just wanna
two headings instead of
Cecilia,
one
can
heading.
I?
Oh,
Okay,
two
so
headings. Okay, okay.
can I
Two
say
headings,
something?
so that you've got children and what they need and the rearing of them, et cetera, under one heading. Then if you go into defining marriage, family, whatever it is, that's another heading. They're like two different things, because one is, well, okay.
Hey.
That was just my thought.
Okay. All right.
Can I say something?
Please.
Okay, family. Okay, I'm trying to digress this whole thing here. Uh, I I don't know what is the purpose to be here on the earth for man and woman or anybody. Is it to make babies or what is it? To work
Everybody's purpose is different on this planet. We can't
no,
define it
what
for
is
one.
the by definition?
Robin, there is no
Robin.
one universal definition. I mean, you're
And,
asking,
and it's not
you're-
our responsibility to
Yeah,
to define that
that's
for anyone else.
I
That's a
think for
really-
a
it's a-
woman, okay, I'm
a really
really
philosophical
nobody
question.
should get married and make any children because
That's
this
your
is
opinion.
way too much,
But
you know.
that, Robin,
That's
that is your
your
opinion.
personal opinion.
Yes.
There's nobody okay. But the thing is, a woman now in this era is under so much stress. Okay, so I mean, you're all woman. I'm a woman. Okay, so we have so much stress. Once we bring these children into that, we have to go work. We have to run the house. We have to do cooking. We have to take care of the parents. So this is really bullshit. To be honest with you. Okay, so anyway.
That was your point. I'm sorry, the timer went off. So that was your
Okay.
point?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is.
All righty. Beth Ann. Oh, I'm sorry. I just muted you. I did not mean to. Please unmute yourself. Can you? Or should I ask you to unmute again? I'm so sorry.
If we're going to have this other thing about different families, and as I mentioned, the idea of families, I think that a different word than parent needs to be used too. Because we need to get rid of the word parent, and we need to have a more global word used. What about children that live in group homes?
What if we added words instead of taking away?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's exactly what we're doing right now is, guys, we don't agree with what Heritage Foundation's priority is. So we are reframing it using whatever words we want, right? And rewriting it. And we're saying, no, we don't agree with your priority of making the nuclear family the one and only way we can have family in the States, you know, and so we're offering this as a counterpoint. As a different view.
Yeah, and I think that if we're also going to talk about contraception and family planning and stuff, we need to regroup and call that stuff something else as well. And we need to look at that. And I worked at a prenatal clinic for years with an NP, and we always said that we wanted to run for president as co-presidents on the birth control platform, because that would cure everything. But,
wouldn't it though?
We wanted to run the birth control platform, and she was going to cover Washington, D.C. in the summertime. No, I was going to cover it in the summertime because I like it hot, and she likes it cold. So that's how we were going to split the presidency. But
perfect partnership.
Yes, it was going to be a partnership based on the birth control platform, which made a lot of sense to me. But anyway, I just want to make sure that family and parent and stuff are we look at other terms or something. That's my whole pause.
Thank you, Beth Ann. Nora, we were mentioning the LGBTQIA community. That's what we were saying. We were saying that families did not fall into the cis hetero family that they were saying, that there is a wide range of different families. I mean, just because we didn't go through man, man, woman, woman, like all the iteration, like that's what we were trying to say, that there is so many different types of families that they can't possibly just say this. I apologize that that wasn't more clear. But that's what we were trying to say. Sabrina.
Hey,
Ooh.
yeah, so I don't know how this fits under this, but I know because of my son being profoundly autistic, there are a lot of people looking for more community-based type housing, community-based type of living, because it's really difficult for these children to just live independently as adults. And so I have even talked to people about like maybe even the community isn't necessarily focused on disabled people, but people who need a community, elderly people who could need a community, young people who are in college who might need community, and maybe these communities can even be, you know, have certain people that they extra welcome in, like, and then that kind of catches everybody, right? And almost everybody needs that, especially the vulnerable people, right? The ones that are different or, don't fit their, whatever somebody imagines a human to be. I don't know. It's just a thought. Also, I want everybody to know my purpose in life is to enjoy it as much as possible. That will not be including any more babies.
All right. Thank you, Sabrina. Kara, you're up next. And I'm going to move to the next one. Even if you're talking about this one, I'm moving the thing to the next one. Okay. So don't feel like I'm trying to push. Yeah.
Okay, great. I got three quick observations. They're so quick. Number one, this is a repeat from last week. Bruce looks great in a hat. I love every hat you've had on, Bruce. You look great in a hat. Number two, while you guys were going back and forth, very interesting conversation. I made beer bread, but I substituted cream soda for the beer. And then I added butterscotch chips. It will be done in 20 minutes.
You had butter beer. You made butter beer.
Yes. Butterscotch beer. Yes. And the third observation is there's a lot of agreement among you guys, but somehow we got into a pattern of argumenting back and forth. And I see so much more in common, and I love than that. I think we could break that pattern and get back to agreement and I love Cecilia's comment about instead of taking something away, let's add something, add it to clarify and give options instead of arguing back and forth about something. And that's all I got. I'm within the timer, guys.
Thank you, Kara. You're awesome. Awesome. Per usual. I bet you had your wand like at the ready. Marta.
Yes, because that's actually what I was trying to say was that I find those two paragraphs very troubling because they put a lot under put family first.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
do.
actually three things. One is, and I know that families come in all different shapes and sizes, but even with your example, you left out people who have no family.
Right.
So I think really what we're talking about is supporting people in whatever their chosen living situations are. Is one thing. Then children's well-being, which is where it sounds like they're starting at the beginning of that whole section, is a whole other header in and of itself with things underneath it. And then sexual autonomy is the third one. They've put all three of those things
together
in one bucket, and they're actually three separate buckets. And that's all I was trying to say was
Thank
that they're all different things. So hopefully that makes sense. In terms of responding to them, they swept a lot into there.
They assume that human beings are meant only to get together, marry, and breed. That is what they expect, right? So they put all that together. And yes, Marta, thank you. That's a great observation.
Thank you.
Hey, Cecilia, I know you want to move to the next topic, but the last word, you said it right, okay? In society, they put a lot of pressure to get married, have children, and that is what I observed all my life. But I'm very different. I was not having, I don't know. I got 3 kids, okay, every 5, 6 years. I don't know how I
Hey,
did it, okay?
Robin, I
Yeah.
know you have a ton of opinions on all of this, but Julie was for you. So if you can just wait your turn, that'd be great.
Julie, go ahead.
Okay, am I unmuted? Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm
Yes.
jumping around here. And my daughter was calling and everything at once. I had put something in earlier, mainly to Chris about using all of this is so valuable, all of it. And I know
Gracie,
not everybody is agreeing, but we're also there. The door is open to add, subtract, whatever. So that's wonderful. And we're building something together. I've encouraged, Laura's been putting a lot into with, she's doing GPT chat on the side. And I think this is also valuable, and I appreciate Dr. Chris's efforts to help organize and I added in here, and I don't know if it's appropriate because I know Indivisible isn't party oriented per se. However, the Democratic Party is more democratic than the other one. So I am a DFL, I was precinct chair or vice chair, and I will be going to the caucus, and my main thing is the environment. So I am focusing on individual resolutions for the environment, very specific, very similar to what we're doing here, going through, and this is what I want. And everybody can tailor make them and bring them to their own caucus meetings on February 3rd, if they so choose. This is a powerful tool. Besides voting, this is a powerful tool to get your voice heard through the process. And that's the reason I'm adding it. And I'm going to take it and run with it and use as much as I can. I'm thankful that we have an environmental caucus that I've been in touch with, and they actually have created a lot of the environmental ones to share out. But like the CTAs, you don't want everything to be exactly exact, because then they don't put the weight on it that they should. And I'm saying
Julie.
about a lot, and
Thank
so I
you.
have to say more, but that is my reasoning. That's kind of why I threw that in there. Okay.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, we're moving on to number 8. Robin, you got some we need and Dr. Chris.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know that, we are moving to the next topic. And I know I apologize. Hey, Beth, I know she coming off. I got a little hurt, but anyway, it's okay. Go ahead and move on. It was such an interesting topic. Okay, so we all human being, we all looking for good life and happy life and live long. Doesn't matter what family structures we have. We all live in America here, so we can make choices. Thank God. If we live in the other countries like in Middle East and even I don't know where, we cannot be even having a discussion like this here, okay? So anyway, I'm glad I'm a woman and I'm here in this country, okay? Bye.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay, and guys, let me just say this before we move on to policy priority number 8, which is root out the deep state. So we know that and that I think was for the previous person.
Yeah.
But we know that these discussions elicit a lot of emotions and a lot of thoughts, etc. And so there's no intention ever to to hurt somebody's feelings or things like that. But we are trying, you know, because just again, in the interest of time, we're now at 11:10, so we're already a little bit over.
We're a little bit over time.
We still have policy priority number 8 and 9. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then the other thing is, we want to hear lots of different voices, right? So just be mindful of that too. So if you've maybe spoken a couple of times, maybe give that opportunity to somebody else who we haven't heard from as much. So anyway, those are just some initial thoughts. So we are going to transition to policy priority number 8. This is root out the deep state. So this is essentially, I'm going to always give you the code. So this is code for we need to get rid of civil servants, right? Exactly what they did with the Doge initiatives and the attacks on civil servants, because the Heritage Foundation considers civil servants as the deep state, and then but we have a counter position on that, because we know that many of these the government civil servants help keep us safe. You know, people that regulate the FAA and scientists that work for the CDC. And so with that being said, I'll turn it over to Bruce, who has his hands up. And hopefully is going to be commenting on the rooting out the deep state and alternatives to and our thoughts on that.
Yeah, and real quick, this also has to do with the fact that they think liberalism is the literal problem. That is what they're like, their attacks on our institutions, our colleges and universities. They literally believe that liberalism in our government and everything, the idea that we're all literally created equal, is the problem, and they are trying to root that out. They consider that the deep state. They're trying to root that out and get rid of it and put in their Christofascism. So, sorry, go on. Bruce.
Okay, thank you, Kara, about the hat, but I'm only wearing it because you wouldn't want to see what's under it with all the bandages.
You still look
good. This is what I have. Let's see. On this one, please, this dog, she jumped up on me. She wants to go out, I think.
She wants to go outside.
Yeah. For civil servants, yes, we got to keep enforcing civil service protections, because Trump is and Bondi are just firing people at will, and that's not how the civil service works. So we've got to strengthen those protections, number one. Two, rely on their expertise, because one of the Supreme Court decisions overruled the Chevron doctrine. The Chevron doctrine had to deal with relying on administrative agencies. That had to deal with environmental regulations, as a matter of fact. The case, I don't remember the name of it, but basically it said Congress needs to put it into their legislation. Otherwise, we the courts are going to interpret, rather than the agencies who have expertise. The courts don't have the expertise in those areas, so that needs to be addressed. It may take constitutional amendment, and just like with this protecting independent agencies, unfortunately, I believe we're going to find very shortly that they're going to find the appointment of some of the people to the FTC, the chair, that Trump could fire them without cause. So it may need a constitutional amendment there too, because they're attacking something that's a decision of 90 years Humphrey's executor, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Much appreciated. Sabrina, our federal employee.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is not actually, as a federal employee, that easy to steal from the government. They have check after check after check. We have internal investigations. There are external investigations.
I'd like that in triplicate, please.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it is not easy to steal from the government. In fact, go lose a bullet in an ammunition locker and let me know how the rest of your day goes, because it's going to be bad. So, because you will literally have to recount everything. One time my son tried to return some equipment that had a wrong number and they wouldn't take it. So like I'm saying, there's a lot of accountability already built into the government because there were problems in the past. So do we educate? Do we promote? do we because adding on more protections for federal employees is great. I think that's absolutely 100%. But adding in more regulation for fraud, I mean, there's probably places, but you're going to have to look for it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like education needs to be part of this. How do we start doing this in a way that people can adopt quickly, even if they don't understand the details, I guess?
I think we need PSAs. Do you all
That's
remember? Do you all remember the egg, cracking the egg? This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, we all remember that, right? It was all, I mean, etched in our brains. We need something like that that somehow reaches everybody, that somehow gets the message across. I'm not, I just something that viral, you know? I don't know, in my personal opinion. Okay, Robin, how would you root out the deep state?
Oh my God. Number one, I really am confused. What is a deep state?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
We need I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is something that we talked about beforehand that we might need to have
What
some
chapter?
no, but that we might need to explain or reframe even their titles, because by policy priority 8 and 9, we didn't even agree with their titles, right? Because we don't agree that there's a deep state unless you agree that Agent Orange brought the deep state with him and is trying to install it.
Okay,
But can I just answer it?
Are you putting a
simply to-
timer on? I don't see the timer here.
It's not yet. Hold on. Dr. Chris is going to say something.
Just since you had you asked a question, I'm going to answer your question.
Sounds good.
So what the Heritage Foundation calls the deep state is it is government civil servants. So they don't believe that we should have a large number of government civil servants. And that's why they started firing a lot of government civil servants, because their premise is that government civil servants almost function like they're their own, their own branch of government, which is not true. Okay, but that's what their position is. So our counter position needs to be, do we believe that government civil servants serve a good purpose? Like, do we like that we have regulatory people, people protecting our safety in the FAA or in the Center for Disease Control that aren't political appointees, but they're experts in their field? And do we think that that's a good thing for America? So that's what we're fleshing out right now.
Right, that are apolitical, experts in their field, and that outlast the 4-year term limit of the president, right? So that they're not attached to a presidency. They go through a presidency. Their intelligence and information and their experience.
Okay, thank you for explaining. Thank you.
I apologize. Now, Robin,
okay,
what would you like?
Okay, hey, I am. Are you gonna? Okay, can
Timer.
I say? Do I have a time a little bit?
You have 2 minutes. Go.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm gonna watch the timer. I know you're putting the timer on. Okay, accountable government. Okay, this guy, orange guy that we have, oh my God, I mean, he is not following any rules and regulations. So how we gonna hold him accountable? That's my number one question.
Okay, all of this is our ideas for once we have control. Like once we have control, right? We're not going to be able to do anything when we what?
Do we have to wait 3 years now?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
we'll be able to stop him from doing things once we have the House and or Senate. We'll be able to stop things, and maybe we'll be able to initiate. But once we have a presidency, then we will be able to.
I hope I'm still alive.
Me too, Robin. Me too. Okay, Bruce, you're up next.
I apologize for talking so much, Chris, but I think I have some things to add. You put in here about corruption and cronyism and unchecked powers, but that really goes to they've got to strengthen the provisions in statute on inspector generals, special counsel, and who can enforce that, because Trump, in the administration, that was one of the first things they did was eliminate them, and they're there to expose corruption, cronyism, and unchecked powers, and it's got to be nonpartisan. So basically, the legislation really needs to be strengthened in that regard. Those are post-Watergate reforms, which apparently weren't strong enough. They were strong enough for every president until Trump. And look what's happened. So I really think that needs to be added too, and I'll be quiet.
No, that's a good ad because the irony was they said that the federal civil servants were functioning as like the deep state, and we need to have, this merit-based and loyalist alternative, right? So then they put in these very unqualified people that are just going to agree. I'm a federal civil servant as well. And one of my jobs when we got new generals is to give them our expert opinion. Now, ultimately, the general was the one making the decision, but they counted on our expertise. Whereas what Trump did as an alternative, he got rid of these expert, people, put in his loyalists who say, yes, sir, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Immunizations or Tylenol causes, what was the Tylenol thing? Autism or whatever. When the science doesn't support that. So yeah, I think and the inspector general was huge, and that was one of the first areas that he cut. So Cecilia is prompting us and saying we are ready to move on to the very last one, which is Unleash American Energy. And I think I put it in the chat, but I may have to drop it in right now just so you can read it. So this is the original Heritage Foundation screenshot. So they talk about, they want to get rid of the solar and wind energy, and they want us to drill, baby, drill, and use fossil fuels, and they discount climate change. You can see that in their quick stats. So that's what the GOP and Heritage Foundation want, is unleash American energy. And what is our progressive counterpoint to that?
Okay, I have a couple of things. Christine had to leave, and so I'm going to say that what she put in the chat, sun and wind energy are free resources. Why are we wasting so much money on oil? And of course, she knows the answer, as we all do. But also, I just came from my uncle and aunt's ranch, and my uncle has worked in oil his entire life. He worked on offshore oil rigs, and he has denied climate change with every bone in his body for my entire life, right? Okay. When we were sitting at the breakfast table just the other day, that man had the audacity to blame China for climate change, just out of nowhere. So either all of a sudden they can no longer deny it because it's so crazy. I mean, it's getting so crazy because if you look at our polar ice caps, I mean, y'all, it's getting crazy. They can no longer deny it. So it's literally leaking in to the MAGA faithful that climate change is real, and they're finally just blaming it on China. Or maybe he's coming around, but no, he's not coming around. So I think it's actually finally leaking through. Anyway, and also one more thing, even during the Biden era, when we were making all of these strides toward, renewable energy, we were still drilling. We were drilling the most oil that we've ever done, and it was a good thing. It made our gas prices really cheap. Everything we were balancing. We were trying to go towards a more balanced energy economy, and it was leading the US to become one of the world leaders in renewable energies. And now we're not even in the game anymore. We're not even in the conversation. We're not even on the same planet as renewable energies anymore. Robin, what would you like to say about unleashing American energy?
Hey, actually, I'm all for environment. Okay, so like these solar panels. Okay, they're very big in California, and I did actually at the house that I have with my sister there to take care of my mom. We did put the solar panels right away, but we didn't see much benefits of it. And then when I came back to Illinois, my house back there, one of the house, we don't hardly have any here, and they have it. And I explored and I told my husband, hey, let's get the solar energy here. I started looking into it. There are so many negatives of this. So, okay, number one, when they don't have much, you have the life of these panels, okay, we don't even know where we're gonna dispose these off once they're expired. That's one. Number two, they're not really producing that much energy. Number three, they're more expensive than buying your regular electricity or whatever, okay? So I have
Okay.
double that. Okay, wind energy is good. Account for wind energy. Okay.
Yeah, hey, this is Chris. So I'm someone who has a electric car, solar panels on my house, a backup battery, and I have to tell you, I have some months I have no electricity bill at all, like zero. Okay, but I'm not going to say that there was a lot of fraud with the solar energy installers, and some people didn't see the benefit of that, and some people are in places or their house is positioned where it may not be as good of an option as our others. And then there's alternatives, like they have solar fields that you can tap into. But as I'm in Texas, and we are the largest solar and wind producer in the country. And even in spite of the incentives that the Trump administration has cut, corporate America or corporate Texans who run these companies are continuing to invest in clean energy, and not even because they think it's good for the environment, but because it's less expensive. It's keeping our energy prices down. So I just
But
wanted to correct some of the information that was in Robin,
okay,
the previous
thank you,
comment.
Dr. Chris, explaining it. But do you know how they're going to dispose off these expired panels?
Robin, you can look that up. You can research that. That's not the purpose of what we're doing here. But I will say that we in corn and soy country, farmers who knew corn and soy was not going to be able to sell due to the tariffs, decided to get rid of their crops and go to solar crops. And what that did is the very first storm that knocked out all of our electricity, we only went maybe an hour without electricity, because then the backup that they had been banking kicked in. And so all of our area, we were privileged to have all of that. Like, it was a privilege to have that solar backup.
And
But
who's making all these solar panels? Americans or Chinese?
I don't have the answer to that, Robin, because that's not the point of this exercise. But you can look that
Okay.
up.
Well, it is, I mean, same topic. I mean,
You can do the research for that and bring it here. That
okay,
would be
sounds
helpful.
good. Next time. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bruce.
2 quick points. For those people who don't believe in climate change, I really think there needs to be a big advertising educational campaign, Al Gore and so forth, because maybe they don't understand it. And we need the public, all the public behind that. Just the oil companies you're never going to get, but certainly people not in that industry, you can always try to convince them. Second point, globalization is important, and efforts, and we need to rejoin the Paris climate accords and encourage other nations to abide by it as well, because this is an international problem, not just ours. That's it.
Thank you. And yes, Nora, that should be illegal. In Maricopa County, they put a huge surcharge on your bill if you have solar panels. I mean, I understand taxing and whatnot, but that's ridiculous. That seems just silly. Boot, what have you to say about unleashing American energy. Roar.
Yikes.
I
Hey,
know, right?
Cecilia, almost
sir.
all of the conversations that we've had today uh, sort of point us to the whole idea of this bardo. All right. And I really think it's time for us to explore that a little bit more because I really don't get the sense that we're we're picking up the continuity.
I
All
know.
right. We're looking at an event and assuming that that has total meaning. And it doesn't. It's part of a continuity. And I think once we explore and expand the whole concept of this, we're at the end of something.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I hear on everybody's perspective. They just don't know what it is. All right. I did post something here. It's on the Turner thesis. All right. I would suspect most people are very unfamiliar with the Turner thesis, even though it's probably fundamental to the explanation that society gives us for American culture. All right. It's worth looking at. So in looking at the Bardo, I would propose one question that we try to answer, and that is, can you ever have a democracy if there's only two players? Does a two-party system actually work against everything we believe in? So maybe if you want to have that conversation, we could really get exciting about it.
Yeah, we can't have that conversation today, but
Not today.
not today. So anybody who has who not anybody who has ideas about that, please write them down and we will have that conversation another time. Oh, Boot, you always bring up that's a great conversation. It's something that we need to talk about for sure. Robin, okay, unleashing American energy. What would you like to say?
Well, last, I'm not going to say anything after this. Bruce said on the global warming. Okay, I have a comment on that. I think the problem is too many human beings on this earth, and we are putting too much CO2. We're using too many resources of the earth. And so we have to cut back on the population, especially in India and China. In America, it's only 250 million population, but we're using the 99.9% of resources put together for the whole world, including me. Okay, like for a person like me, I'm now downsizing. Like I minimum, my become trying to become minimum. Okay, and but I have wasted so much on the material here. Okay, like clothes, shoes, and purses. Okay, so that's where is the global
And
warming
let me
is.
tell you, all I could think about that is during the pandemic. During the pandemic, when the entire world was forced to stay inside, forced to minimalize, forced to stop wasting so much. And granted, the pandemic was terrifying and the quarantine sucked. But what happened? We had clear skies, y'all. We had beautiful, beautiful, clear skies all throughout the world. And we saw that it was very, very easy to minimize pollution if we all just tried a little bit harder. Anyway.
Yes, Cecilia, I agree with you. And actually, we all should be mindful for not hoarding and not buying. Like Amy, I haven't seen Amy on these conversations, and
It's Sunday.
I'm trying to follow her. I'm stopped going to even Costco. Costco, my favorite. I stopped going to Trader Joe, started Walmart.
Okay, honey,
Target,
we're
all
not
that.
talking about that right now. I'm so sorry.
But I'm not just saying that we go to the stores and we see, we even have a list and we side with the stuff that they have so much.
I know.
And then we get
We are
sidetracked.
overconsumers.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my last comment here. And
Thank you,
thank you for listening. Maybe I go off the topic when you guys are talking, but it's good for me. It's a therapy for me. Okay.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much. Okay, Julie, you are up.
Okay, I'll be quick. I'm going to put my plug in here for regenerative farming to reduce the CO2 emissions. Regenerative farming will naturally sequester the CO2 back into the ground using no-till, which just basically breaks apart everything and eventually creates the dust bowl that we've already had one in history. We're heading for another one. If we don't heed the warnings, need to have cover crops that keep the moisture in. So you have to irrigate less. And again, overall, less need for, I guess they are even getting more electric farming equipment out there. So I don't know, I'm not a farmer, but I support regenerative farming.
I do too.
That's
And
it. Yeah.
if y'all have ever heard of Will Westmoreland in the back 40, he does some amazing regenerative farming. He has shroom farms. He does mushroom farming and all kinds of stuff. He so much more than just what he does on YouTube. I had no idea till I looked into
Who is that, Cecilia? Can you?
Will Westmoreland from the back 40, that gentleman that I was going to do a big I had a town hall with him and everything. Anyway, I'll text you.
Okay. That was my plug.
Thank
And I would
you
like
very
to add
much,
it
Julie.
to the number 9.
Much appreciated.
Okay, thank
I
you.
figured you would be our big one on number 9. All right. And here we come to our one-pager closing line, which I like. A strong America is built by investing in people, protecting democracy, and making the economy work for everyone, not by shrinking government to benefit the wealthy and powerful. Y'all, we've learned trickle-down economics do not work. Okay? They don't. Ronald Reagan ruined everything. Like you can trace it back. So we have learned that trickle down only works for those up top. So thank you all so much. We have gone way over time, but I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for dealing with me and my computer just losing power and me just blocking off. Thank you so much, Dr. Chris and Beth, for being amazing co-hosts and taking up the mantle. Y'all, you are an amazing audience and amazing friends and family, and I love each and every one of you. And let me tell you, I don't think I could have made it through 2025 without you. And I know for dang certain I won't be able to make it through 2026 without you. So here we go. We are planning and we are progressing, and that's what we do. And we're fighters, and that's what we do. And we resist. As Boot Money says, we persist to resist. So y'all, thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow morning, if you're able, at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And otherwise, we have Sorting Soup back to our regular scheduled program of Project 2025 Survival Guide on the 8th. Yeah, the 8th. I believe it's the 8th. No, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Thursday, 5 o'clock Central. All right, y'all. Whoever is the host, if you could stop the
Bill made you host again, Cecilia.
Oh,
he did.
He did. Look at that.
Yeah, and so I think since you dropped